So I'm driving to meet a friend of mine. Of course, I'm running late. And I met a neighbor of mine, two of my favorite neighbors. His name's Ricardo. He's a wonderful man. I love him dearly. And he reminded me today that, because I fall in love with somebody, and I realize, well, I wouldn't know if it's love or but it's not fall in love, but I feel, I'm looking at these fireworks that are in front of me. I wish I could show them to you, but then I would probably crash and die. Spit this gum out. I'm done with this. I was reminded by my neighbor today that I should not compromise my life for anybody. I should not be trying to put this person on my level or make them understand just the problems with their life, and that their life could be so fulfilling. And it's funny because my neighbors that haven't known me for a very long time said to me, we see where you're going. We see it, and we see your spirit, and we know, and they're like, don't worry yourself with people that are not on the same level. I'm sorry, it's so hot. It's like 8:45 p.m. and it's still 84. It's like 84 degrees right now. And they're right, and I have to get back in touch with that person that was so interested in my well-being, and that wouldn't take crap from people, and did not compromise her standards. And I really care for people. I really care. And I don't say that to be, sorry, I'm just putting my seat up here. I don't say that to be cocky, but I say that in the sense of I really, really have this deep desire for people to live their best lives, for people to live fulfilling lives where they are not compromising what they believe. And it's interesting because since I was young, I've had this, I don't want to say a gift, but maybe it is a gift of seeing what someone can improve on in their lives, and when they're not doing it, thinking to myself, oh, this is what they could do, and so when any of my friends or my family members are fucking up, and I know what's right for them, which is why I think about therapy, but when I see what's going on with them and they're messing up, I just think like, this is not you, this is not you, and if you want to deny who you are, and it's not just who you are, but the potential of the person that you can be, the greatest reflection, the greatest shape, I guess, but the greatest person that you can be. And I see that in people, and I see that in myself, and I sometimes deny that, but then I see it's easier to see in other people and to say, hey, I see this about you, and you can do all these great things, but you got to stop fucking up in these different ways. Excuse my language, that's the best way I can say it. You have to stop messing up in other ways. Stop messing around with women that are only giving you the sweet satisfaction for a day, and then you're still broken. Stop denying emotional intimacy when that is the key to life. Stop fearing that everyone's going to screw you over. Deal with the trauma that's happening, in your life, whether it's from your parents or all these different people. Like, deal with that stuff. And even if it takes you a long time to deal with it, start dealing with it now, because when you are someone who has a lot to give to the world, it hinders you terribly when you don't dedicate your time to dealing with that baggage. It hinders you terribly. And so, but going back to what Ricardo and Bill were saying, we all live in this certain Edgewater in Chicago, and we all live on the same block. I mean, they're like 3 houses down from me, and they're telling me, we see what's like your greatness, and we see your potential. Don't compromise your stuff. Because I was upset about a situation with somebody. I was upset, and because I love the person, and it wasn't just about them. I saw this happening with a friend of mine, and I just thought, man, like, what is going on? What's going on with men and women in their interactions? Like, why are people so afraid of opening themselves up to the greatness of somebody? And then I felt bad because for a long time, because I was like, well, I'm loving this person, I'm loving these people, I'm loving my grandparents despite their problems, I'm loving my friends and people that I want to have sex with and do these things with, and they don't care. And I should feel stupid because I love them and give them all these chances. But the quote that my roommate Rashika sent me, this wonderful quote about, well, don't feel bad because you loved. At least you loved, and love is something that's beautiful. And women that really, really love should not feel ashamed of that. And I read that quote, And thank you, Rishika. Like it blessed my life so much, because I felt so bad for always giving a specific person and people, there are 3 people specifically that I give these chances to, but I'm in romance. Well, maybe it's more than that. And I was thinking, like, well, this is it. Like, I should stop doing this because I know better. I know better than to not keep giving these people chances and, like, stop. Let me put on my lights. Stop being there for them. But that's what love is. When you fall in love with somebody, or when you love them, you always are there to give chances to them. And you should not feel ashamed of loving someone. You should not feel bad for loving someone, even if they don't love you back, even if they do not love you back. And because love is free. Love is free, and it's giving, and it's something that you give freely. You don't just hoard it to yourself, and you only give it when the person is worthy of it, because that's not love. That's possession and ownership. I'm gonna turn right here. So that's my thing, and I go back to what they were saying. Don't be distracted by people that don't want to love you. That don't want to love you, and don't feel bad that you have loved them, because the calling. Everybody has a calling on their life, and I'm fighting so hard against my calling. I'm fighting so hard against it because it's so hard. It's so hard. It's very, very, very hard for me to know that there is so much healing and trauma in our world, and so many acts of justice that I should be participating. What is this person doing? Like, what are you doing? Ugh, I hate when people walk in the middle of the street and it's definitely green their cars. But anyways. But I'm fighting against my calling because of the fact that it's just so hard. I haven't been. It's hard to know that your calling. Yes, you're going to find like-minded people that are going to be on the same level and wavelength as you in terms of your ideas, all these different things that you want to do with your life, for life, and for the betterment of humanity and society and the earth, and the world. It's not just about Earth. Like what Earth would happen. Anyways, that's a bigger conversation about the globe and all that stuff and the planets but. It is very hard when you find someone that's on the same level as you in these things, and then they're not on the same level in other ways, and I was very discouraged about that today. I was very discouraged, and I cried. Like, I cry due to emotions, but it takes a lot for me to cry over somebody in terms of that, in the ways that I feel that the person has hurt me, and that there's nothing I can do, because that's really what happened. Yesterday I was so upset about a situation that I literally just it happened like on Saturday, and then on Sunday I processed it, and I was so busy and tired on Saturday that I didn't have time to really process it. But when I finally sat and I processed what happened, the fact that I feel this way, and like I'm just trying to do the best thing for this person, they still don't want to do this, I cried. Because I went to my roommate's room, and I sat there and I cried, and I talked to her about it, and because I was heartbroken, because people don't want to change. People do not want to change. And I felt stupid for loving someone so much, to the point of wanting to be there for them, and then them like being like, well, I don't want this, like I don't, and then they're still around, and I'm still, and then they're still, I don't want to feel this way towards you, but then they're still around, and I'm like, then stop fucking with my mind, like just decide something. So this messed with my calling, because I was like, I'm gonna back away from everything, and I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna like get rid of, and I am getting rid of like being a Seventh-day Adventist for right now, because it's not where I feel that I should be, because it's just not working. And I talked about this in the last video that I put up. But don't feel bad for loving somebody. Love yourself first. And I know it's so hard. It's so hard because we've been trained to love other people. But love yourself first, because the calling that you have in this life. And Ricardo and Bill, it's so funny because I'm really late for picking up my friend Lydia, which is fine. Like, it's not a big deal that I'm late. Should I turn here? I'll turn on the Western. But I'm late for picking her up because I was talking to Bill and Ricardo, and I know so many people now. I wasn't picking my nose, I was picking her right here. But I know so many people that I'm extroverted in the sense that I do have very introverted tendencies, but I'm extroverted in the sense that I am literally always like talking to people. Like, I can't help it. It's like in my blood. I hate silence. I just want to talk to people and connect with everybody. I want everybody to be friends. I don't have this neediness of wanting to be friends with everybody, but I want everybody in the world to be friends and to talk. Wow, that person has a lot of like Tweety birds on them. But don't feel bad for loving somebody. And but remember what I was saying is this, yes. Love yourself first, because the calling that's on your life. What happened to this IHOP? Oh no, it would just look weird from that angle. Love yourself first, because the calling that's on your life and the things that are important to you and the difference that you have to make requires you to love yourself first. And don't feel bad for falling in love with somebody or trying to make a difference, and this other person. Now I'm in Evanston. Evanston is dark as hell, people. It's dark as hell. They have all these random little lights, but they're not very bright. But yeah, that's my little spiel for today, and I'm going to go because Mulford, yeah. Because I'm almost here. But don't feel bad for loving somebody. Remember the calling that's on your life. That surpasses the drama with this other person. Like, remember that, because I loved really, really hard, and I love very hard, and I would never be possessive or jealous or any of those things, but I would love and make someone's life better. And if that person can accept that from you and wants to fuck around with other things that don't fill any void, really, they don't fill any voids, and that's their loss. And that's the quote that I was given and that I was reminded of. And I thank God for what Rashika sent me, because the quote was about, if this person can't see you, then they're missing on something great. And if they don't see you and they want to miss on something great, they think that there's still something out there, they don't want to face their shit, let them go. Because life is too short. It's just too short. And you have to like be the best person for yourself to fulfill your calling. So have a good night. Bye-bye.